Welcome to the ACSA campus tour, where every Tuesday we take you to a different part of the state, talk with a district administrator about the successes and challenges they and their school community are experiencing during this COVID-19 pandemic. We talk about social emotional wellness, and we talk about the next big challenge as we move towards safely reopening schools. Joining us today is the principal from Ruth O. Harris Middle School in the Colton Joint Unified School District, Cindy Aguilar-Muñoz. Cindy, thanks so much for being with us.
Oh, thank you. I'm excited to be here.
So the school year's done. What are their reflections? And through your lens, what have been the successes and challenges?
So our district conducted a survey of students, parents, and teachers regarding the past several weeks of our education. And I have to say that three of the things that really resonated with me were, one, our community is very proud of how our teachers and support staff pulled together to provide students with distance learning, along with all of the supports that they required during our school closures. Second thing that resonated with me was that parents are saying they're kind of feeling like the demand on the student and on the parent was a little high. And I think that what that tells us is that we really need to examine the learning intention behind the assignments that we are giving students through distance learning. You know, we have some parents who have multiple students or students at different levels, students in advanced classes, or parents who are essential workers and have to balance out that schedule with supporting their students at home academically. And the third thing is that when asked how they see the start of the new school year, the majority responded in favor of a hybrid model. So what that tells me is that they see some value in the distance learning and they are satisfied with it, but they are also starting to feel ready to begin to transition back to our campuses.
When I have the opportunity to talk with administrators about effective communications models and social media, I talk a lot about your Twitter account because it's this really unique platform where you have the opportunity to promote your students and your teachers and your staff. You show activities that are going on in the school, even ACSA activities. And then there's this great thing that you do where before school, you hold up these signs that empower your students and to give your students the impression that they're loved and they're in a safe environment. What's the impetus for that? And how much do you think students could use something like that right now?
Oh, this is my favorite way to start and end my day. Absolutely. So my school campus has one entryway. Luckily, we are set up that way. And so the way I end my day every day is I pull out a piece of paper and I reflect on what might my students need to hear from me or from anyone. And I come up with a quote, I come up with a phrase, I look for a quote or something that they may need to hear. I create my little poster, leave it on my table. As soon as I walk in the next day, grab it, head to that one entry point on my campus, and I stand there and I'm able to smile and welcome every student or adult that walks through that gate. Some of my favorite things that I rotate throughout regularly are "You are perfect just the way you are," "You are loved, you matter." And one of our kids' favorite is by Tupac, "Keep your head up." So I think that finding ways to connect with our students, to build relationships with our students is absolutely key, regardless of the grade level you teach or the school site you're at. The research tells us it's all about what Jimmy Casas always has in his books, relationships, relationships, relationships. And as we prepare to welcome students back to our campus, I think of the student that has been with their parents for months now and may have separation anxiety. I think of the student who's never been to my campus before, and we're trying to find ways to welcome them in. They haven't had an opportunity to explore the campus, to meet teachers, anything. I also think of the students who have the memory of our campus, and it's not the same anymore. It's not going to look the same. and it's certainly not going to feel the same for them. So what can we do to help welcome them and meet their emotional needs?
You talk a lot about the reopening of campuses and how the expectation is that it's not going to be the same. And because you're at the site, you have a better understanding of the intricacies that come from your school community. And so I wonder, what is the biggest challenge that you see as we move towards the new academic year and the safe reopening of schools?
As I see it, it is ensuring that the practices and safety measures that we put in place are safe for all. And I think what that means for me is being actively involved in the decision-making process at the local level, in the planning for students to return at the local level, so that I'm in there working and fully understanding why we're doing the things that we're doing, so that I have the ability and the confidence to reassure our staff, our family, our community that our campuses are safe. As we know from Maslow, everyone needs to be safe, feel safe before anything can happen. So my biggest challenge is certainly to reassure the community that our campuses are safe and that our students, our loved ones, we will be safe.
Cindy Aguilar-Muñoz is the principal from Ruth O. Harris Middle School in the Colton Joint Unified School District. Cindy, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much, Naj.
And thank you so much for being with us today. Remember, every Tuesday, we are back here with another one-on-one discussion with a school administrator. That is, again, every Tuesday here on the ACSA Campus Tour.